Hi, this is Jim Lange, and I would like to talk about what is coming up regarding taxes and what you should do about them. So right now we all know that President Trump and the Republican Congress are trying very hard to have some type of tax reform, and even though who knows what they're going to come up with the compromise with the Democrats, and to be honest, I think it's going to be a mess. Whichever side of the aisle you're on. But whichever side of the aisle you're on, we all want to have less money for the IRS and more money for you and your family. So that's what I'm really going to be talking about. But what do we pretty much know is going to happen? Well, we all know that the tax decreases are going to be a major part of any type of tax reform. We also know that these tax decreases will not be permanent. Now, what has happened in the past when a Republican administration has succeeded in cutting the tax rates? It has been it happened with President Reagan, it happened with two President Bushes. The succeeding Democratic administration will then raise taxes. Will that likely happen again? I believe so, because even the nonpartisan Tax Policy Institute says that there's going to be an additional $10 trillion to the deficit with President Trump's current proposed tax legislation. So even if, and by the way, they said, well, it might be might be 9 billion or even 8 billion if it has the impact that President Trump wants, which is to stimulate the economy. On the other hand, there's so many expenses that are more or less fixed. And one thing that neither the Democrats nor the Republicans have been successful is actually cutting spending. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to see this new law, and then both in the short term and in the long term, both the President and the Congress are going to be desperate of coming up with new ways to bring in new revenue. All right? We've already talked quite a bit about the death of the Stretch IRA, but very frankly, that is one way that would reduce the projected deficit of the new tax bill. So to me, I've been saying all along this thing is coming. And then back in September 2016, the Senate Finance Committee voted 26-0 to recommend to kill the Stretch IRA. With this big tax cut coming, they have to pay for it, or at least a portion of it somehow. Death of the Stretch IRA is coming, and we should be taking the appropriate steps. I've already done a bunch of videos on that. I will do more. The second thing that we know is that the tax rates are going to go back up again later. So what does that indicate? Well, that indicates Roth IRA conversions. I'm also planning to do a whole series on Roth IRA conversions. However, the issue of Roth IRA conversions, and hardly anybody gets this right, should not be looked at in a vacuum. Yes, it does make sense. Okay, let's assume tax rates are lowered. Make a series of Roth IRA conversions when the tax rates are lowered. Then the tax rates are increased, and then this tax-free Roth IRA looks even better than it did with lower taxes. Okay, that's pretty obvious. But the thing that isn't as obvious is, well, what about Social Security? Does Social Security have some role in this? Is the question of when and how to take Social Security a completely independent decision on how much you should do for your Roth IRAs and Roth IRA conversions? And I would indicate, no, it is not an independent decision. It is an integral part of what I would consider an overall retirement and estate plan. So for the next several videos, I'm going to concentrate on Social Security, what you should be doing, what you should not be doing, how more than 90% of the U.S. population gets Social Security wrong, how it's hurting them enormously, and what you should be thinking about now and in the near future regarding Social Security. So that's going to be the subject of the next couple videos. I encourage you to watch all of them. I think it would be good information for anybody, but particularly for people in their 60s. And by the way, I will also say that if you already have made a decision regarding Social Security, and you are between the ages of 66 and 70, that decision can be, if not undone, at least stopped, and what you have decided is not etched in stone, and there might be enormous benefits to learning more about Social Security and potentially taking an action that will save your family tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So be on the lookout for additional videos coming up regarding Social Security, and I hope that this series gives you a lot of great information to make important decisions for your retirement and estate plan. Thank you.